story of the race. So people call me the line guy, and I think I've got to explain something. It's not because I know the best lines, it's because I'm just really passionate about different line choice and being creative and seeing what lines are fastest. I don't actually know what's fast, I just really like line choice. So we looked at this rock garden yesterday, and I said, oh well, there's 3 main lines, and it turns out, nah, there's a few others. One of them won this race. 2 people that I know for sure who did it were the 2 fastest through this section by a lot. We're talking like half a second, which is huge over this small section. So let's have a look. Let's see what line it was, and let's see why it was faster.
What is going on with him? He's reversing up the rock garden.
Back it in, son.
Back it in.
Many years ago, when this track was incepted, the line to do was the original line, and the way they taped it, it was kind of down through the middle, round the drop, and crack on down. That was the line that most people did, just because of the way they taped it. And over the years it's been worn down and down and down, the rain's run down it, and it's got a big channel. And it got chunky, it got nasty, and people stopped doing it because, you know, they tape it differently. There's better lines available. There's the inside off the rock. There's a middle line down the ridge that sets you up for a nice hooking slapper of a bank to just hook you out the town. And there's the fully outside that's a bit smoother. You know, these are good lines. Let's just pick between them. I'll leave that channel line alone. It's full of boulders. Nah. But it takes some adventurous individuals who can see past the channel's issues and see the potential hidden there. So we saw Manar in practice going down the channel, getting light out of it, hitting the bank and then into the wide line, and we're like, oh, that was interesting.
What?
Turns out that line allowed him to come into this section way faster. There's actually 2 lines on the way into the section. There's a wider line and there's an inside line over the stump. Wider line you've got to turn a bit more on, inside line's got a bit of a drop, but it's a straighter setup. But that straighter setup doesn't work to get onto the ridge or the wide line, it's just too tight. So you are forced into that kind of channel. The speed you can come in on it, it's too fast to really then get off the drop, so you're just forced all the way down the channel. And the corner at the bottom looks horrible. There's this huge boulder on the inside that looks like you're just going to punch with your hand as you come into it. And it looks like Manar was going to funny hit check, flick the back end round to try and get round it. And yeah, nasty, but the big thing is, at the end of that channel is the nicest, most supportive bit of bank for the left turn. The outside line, no support, really flat. We saw young rider Jackson Goldstone have a massive crash in there, and just because it was so unsupportive. And the ridge line, like I said, a little bit slower to get onto because it's a bit of a tighter turn, even though it does have the same exit as this line we're looking at. So, super fast into the channel with a nice supportive bank to be able to carry the speed round. And then you filter into that outside line for the next corner, which most people were doing. It's one of these things that's so easy to miss. It's like everyone's doing all these other lines, so you just pick the one you want. But Manar just managed to spot the possibilities there. And a few others saw that because there was a video of him doing it. I'm wondering if Laura Spergier saw the video of Manar doing it and went, oh, I'm having some of that. And they were both the fastest through this section by a decent margin.
Coming into the rock garden, you've got this real fast left-hander, very rough and bumpy, and then you kind of drop out of it, and then the line goes slightly left, and then you go right into the rock garden. But it's a lot of braking bumps. Our plan was to get out of those braking bumps. You didn't really need to carry a lot of speed into the rocks. You want to just find a straight line possible, and then carry all your speed out. I picked the right of the main line coming in, and then I could get quickly into the rocks, drop on a straight line to find easy hookup to get onto the outside to carry speed. No one was on it the first day, no one was on the second day, but everyone was on it this morning. I had altered the line slightly to go deeper into the rut in the rocks, slightly go right, and get a really good drive through the little switchback. And so that was the plan, and executed pretty good in the final. So I was stoked with that.
Super cool to see, and it just shows you have to keep your eyes open for these things if you're racing. But you can get a little creative. You can definitely get a bit creative. So this was such an interesting section. We look at it every year just because there's so many options available, and it turns out there's more than we thought. This is the line that won the race. Fair play, boys. That was sick.
Here he is. Oh yeah. Oh! It's steep!